Now we're going to look at graphing inequalities. So graphing inequalities are the same thing as graphing lines, but now I'm going to have some extra decisions. I'm going to have some shading, and then sometimes I'm going to have a dotted instead of a solid line. So the first step anytime we do these is to do something called solve for y. We're putting this in our notes. We'll keep kind of coming back for this, but in order for me to follow all the rest of this, my inequalities need to have a y on the left side. The only exception is if my only variable in the problem is x. All right, so we're going to have that there, solve for y, and then our steps are like graphing for lines. So we're going to begin with b, move with m. So we're going to graph at least 2 points using step 2. Then we're going to decide whether we're going to do a solid or dashed, you could say dotted, I say both, line. And we'll talk about when we use each. So the first, right here, we're getting 2 or more points to graph. Then we're looking at how do I connect the points. And then we're going to decide about shading. So decide, do we shade above or below? Pardon my horrible handwriting today. This last part is to say, don't forget Hoivaks. Horizontal lines are 0 slope and y equals a number. Vertical lines have undefined slope and are x equals a number. These come up a lot, so that's why I put little stars right there. So don't forget Hoivaks. So when do I use a solid versus a dotted, and when do I shade above versus below? Let's look at that. So a solid line is going to be when you have the equal to's. So you have the little line on here. If I don't have the equal to's, it's just a less than or a greater than, we're going to do a dashed or dotted line. For shading, we're going to shade above if it's a greater than or equal to. At this point, it's really, really, really important that you've connected that this symbol is greater, that you don't have it reversed with less than. And then we're going to shade below if it's a less than or equal to. Notice we're talking about above and below. We're talking up and down, not left and right. The only time I think left and right for these is if I have a Vux equation, and we'll do an example like that. So looking at this equation you have, my first thing is we're going to begin with b, so my b is -4, and we're going to move with m, which is 2/3. So begin with b, -4, move with m up to right 3, and I'm going to do a few more points up to right 3, up to right 3, just because, especially graphing on here, I'm going to erase those little lines because that's not part of my line. Okay, then I need to decide. I need to decide if I'm solid or dashed. So if I look at this inequality, I do not have an equal to. So I'm going to connect these with a dashed line. And my last step is to decide whether I'm shading above or below. Since this symbol is a greater than, I'm going to shade above the line. So put your pencil somewhere on the line and go up. Anywhere on the line, go up. That's where we are shading. Up, 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 up. Or down. We are only thinking up and down. Do not think left and right. So on your next half sheet, it is summarizing exactly what we just said at the top again. And let's look at a couple of these. So I'm actually going to start with this third one right here. So we're going to begin with b. My b is -3. And I'm going to move with m, which is 4. And then let's go ahead and make our decisions. Is this solid or dotted? Since it's greater than, that means it's going to be dotted. And since it is greater than, we're going to shade above. So I'm just writing myself some notes. Begin with b, which is -3. Move with m, so that's up 4, right 1. I'm going to do that a couple more times. Up 4, right 1. Now I'm going to connect these 3 points, and I already said it's a dotted line or a dashed line, just something like that. Wow, isn't that super pretty? Okay. And then I've already said to shade above. So if I put my pencil on the line, I have it kind of sitting right here, and go up, choose somewhere else, go up. Okay, this is the side that I'm shading. Okay, now let's go back to this second problem here. We're going to begin with B, which is -4. So plot my y-intercept. Move with M. So I'm going to go up to right 3. This should seem really familiar to the previous problem we just did. Up to right 3. Now, finally, we have some different stuff going on with my inequality, though. Since I see the equal to, I'm going to graph a line, a solid line. And now it's a less than, which means I'm going to go below this line. So if I put my pencil, I'm just going to put it like right there where you see the little green dot. If I move my pencil down, that's where I'm going to be graphing. Put my pencil here, down, this side. What it means when I'm graphing this inequality, by the way, let's talk about what it even means, is that any old point, so any point in this green space, any of these things, if I substitute those coordinates back into this inequality, I get something true. I get something like -2 is less than or equal to 5. Like that's a true statement. So anything in this shaded region is going to make that true, which is why I have to have shading with inequalities, because with inequalities, I have lots and lots and lots of different answers. All right, let's try the last one on this row, and then we'll go back to problem number 1. So we're going to begin with B. B is -3. Move with M, which is 3/4. So begin with B, -3. We like these negative y-intercepts on here. And then we're going to go up 3, right 4. Can I fit another one? Nope, I'm going to go backwards. Down 3, left 4. All right. Erase those. Now let's look at our inequality and make some life decisions here. So we have a greater than or equal to. I see the equal to, so I'm going to do a solid line. It's greater than, so I'm going to put my pencil on the line and think above. Think up. All right. There we go. So why did I skip number 1? Look at number 1. Number 1 is one variable. So that means it's either hoy or vux. Well, it's y, so that means I'm talking about hoy. So I'm going to go on my y-axis to -3. And now I'm asking the same questions, solid or dotted. So I don't see an equal to, so that means I'm going to draw a dotted line. And now I'm thinking hoy. So this is a horizontal line. Then I need to know how to shade. It's less than, so that means I'm going to shade below that line. All right, here's my one exception when we think about shading. I have one variable, and that variable is x. So that means I'm thinking about a vertical line. So where am I going on my x-axis? We're going to 0 because of this. Now I'm going to think solid or dotted. So this is solid because I have the equal to, and I'm going to draw a vertical line. So this actually ends up being on my y-axis. And now we have greater than. So I can't think up and down, because if I'm like putting my pencil on this line, that's just giving me the line. So when it's x, that is the only time we think left and right. It's only when it's just an x. So greater than is going to be to the right, because those x values are all greater than or equal to 0. If you think you've got the hang of this, feel free to zoom ahead and pause. So right here I have a y-intercept of 6, slope of -2. Let's make that a fraction. So we have up 6 for my b, and then we're going to move with m, down 2, right 1. Going to do that a couple times. Down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1. Make a decision. Are we solid or dotted? Well, we're going to be dotted because that's a greater than. And now we're looking at greater than for shading. That means I'm going to go above the line. So if I put my pencil on the line and think about going up, that is where I need to be shading. Begin with B. You're going to be saying that in your head forever. Move with M, -1/2. So we're going to begin at 2. And then we're going to move down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. Or I could go up and left. I'm going to erase these. They were just to help me graph. All right. Let's decide on solid or dotted. Once again, we have dotted because I don't see my equal to. And now we're doing less than. So I'm going to put my pencil on that line. I need to go down, down, down. So down here, below my line is where I'm graphing. And our last one. So begin with B, which is -4. Move with M, which is 3. Let's make that over 1. Down 4. And we're going to go up 3, right 1. I see an equal to, so that means we're going to draw a solid line through those points. And it is less than, so less than means I'm putting my pencil on the line, that green dot, and I'm thinking down, down from that line. There we go.